Welcome to all. Let us recap what we have discussed in the previous class. In the previous class, we have discussed about the concept of insolvency, bankruptcy and liquidation, and the difference between bankruptcy and the liquidation. Then we have discussed about the objectives of IBC, then IBC structure, how many parts are there in IBC, how many sections are there in IBC, we have discussed. Then the words not defined under the IBC. So in IBC we are having definitions under section 3 and section 5 of the IBC. But if any word is not defined in IBC, then where we need to refer? We are having other legislations are there. The list is given under the IBC. We have discussed that in the previous session. Then we have discussed about the applicability of IBC. Today we are discussing the topic Introduction to IBC. Under that we are discussing the definitions part. So let us discuss few important definitions today. So first important definition is board. What is the meaning of board? The term board is defined under section 3 subsection 1. So here if you look at the definitions, okay, so I have given the number 1. It means section 3 subsection 1, subsection number I have given the number. Okay, so subsection 3 subsection 1 defines the term board. Board means the Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India, established under section 188 subsection 1 of the legislation. So as already we have discussed in the yesterday's class, we have discussed that one of the objective of IBC is to establish IBBI, Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India. So under section 188 of the 188 of IBC, a board is established. Okay, then next definition, claim. What is the meaning of claim? Subsection 6, section 3 subsection 6. So what is the meaning of claim? Claim means a right to payment, whether or not such right is reduced to judgment, fixed, disputed, undisputed, legal, equitable, secured or unsecured. So whenever I am having a right of payment, that is right to payment, I am having a right to receive the payment from someone. Maybe such right is because of the judgment. That means already I have received some judgment. The court of law has given the judgment. Now I am entitled. Or maybe it is fixed already. Maybe it is disputed or undisputed. Maybe legal, maybe equitable based on the equity, or secured or unsecured. Okay, so whenever I am having a right to payment, then that is called as claim. Okay, then right to remedy. Okay, whenever I am having right to remedy. So for what? Right to remedy for breach of contract. Okay, we both have entered into the contract, imagine. Okay, so whenever if I breach, then you are having a remedy against me. Okay, so right to remedy for breach of contract under any law for the time being in enforcement, if such breach gives rise to a right to payment. Okay, so please remember, this breach should give rise to right to payment. Unless you are having right to payment, then right to remedy is of no use. Okay, so whether or not such right is reduced to judgment, fixed, measure, unmatured, matured, unmatured, disputed, undisputed, or secured or unsecured. Okay, more or less if you observe these two paragraphs, last two lines are repeated in nature. Okay, whether such right is reduced to judgment, fixed, matured, unmatured, disputed. So these are all already there. Okay, so in a simple language I can say, what do you mean by claim? Claim means it is a right to payment. Okay, and it is a right to remedy. So you are having right to payment and you are also having right to remedy. Okay, whenever you are satisfying these two things, right to payment and right to remedy, then that is called as claim. Okay. The next definition is corporate person. So section 3 subsection 7 of the act defines the term corporate person. Corporate person means a company and an LLP. Company as defined under the Companies Act, and LLP or any other person incorporated with limited liability. Okay, so please remember these corporate persons. Okay, so in the subsequent lessons we are going to discuss who are eligible to file a petition under this legislation. Okay, corporate person is also one of the person who is eligible to file a petition or file an application under this legislation. Okay, so corporate person means a company as defined under the Companies Act 2013, and LLP or any other person incorporated with limited liability. Okay, but shall not include, you have to be very careful. Okay, it shall not include any financial service provider. Okay, so the financial service providers are not covered under the corporate person, because financial service providers, they are regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so we are having separate legislation, separate set of schemes are there, so which is regulated by regulatory authorities, Reserve Bank of India. Okay, so because it is these are all very sensitive in nature, they are very important to the economy, so that's why we have a separate set of rules and regulations are there. Okay, now let us see who is financial service provider. Because corporate person does not include financial service provider, we should understand what is the meaning of financial service provider. So who is financial service provider? Subsection 17, section 3, subsection 17 defines financial service provider means a person engaged in the business of providing financial services in terms of authorization issued and registration granted by the financial sector regulator. So what is the meaning of financial service provider? Financial service provider means a person. So here when you look at the word means, it indicates that it is an inclusive definition. It is not a exhaustive definition. Okay, so whenever if you look at the definitions part under any legislations, the definitions are of two categories. One is inclusive definition and another is exhaustive definition. Okay, so here financial service provider is an inclusive definition. So they have given, imagine ABCD. So it does not mean that the definition includes only ABCD. Other than this, whichever is having the characteristics of ABCD, then even those activities are also included in the definition. Okay, so financial service provider means any person who is engaged in the business of financial services. So we have to understand what is the meaning of financial services. Okay, in terms of authorization issued, so you cannot render the financial services unless you are having the authorization from the concerned authority. Okay, or registration granted by the financial sector regulator. So from this definition we can understand that any person who is providing the financial services and who is regulated by financial sector regulator. Then we have to understand what is the meaning of financial services and what is the meaning of financial sector regulator. Okay, so the term financial services is defined under subsection 16 of the section 3. Subsection 16 of section 3 only. Okay, so what is the meaning of financial services? Financial services means accepting the deposits. So generally banking institutions, they'll accept the deposits for the purpose of lending. That is the basic definition of banking services. Okay, as defined under the Banking Regulation Act. Okay, so accepting the deposits. So any person who is accepting the deposits, who is having the registration, it is considered to be financial services. Okay, then safeguarding and administering assets consisting of financial products belonging to another person or agreeing to do so. So whenever you are selling the assets belongs to other, maybe I can say asset management companies. Okay, so if any asset management companies are there, if any portfolio managers are there, okay, they are administering the assets which belongs to the other person. Okay, so even they are also, it is also considered to be financial services. Okay, then affecting the contract of insurance. So any person who is giving the insurance policies, okay, contract of insurance, and offering, managing or agreeing to manage assets consisting of financial products belong to other person. So if any person is offering or managing or agreeing to manage assets consisting of financial products, so if someone is offering, managing the financial products, that is belonging to the other person. Okay, so I am not investing actually. Okay, someone else is investing and I am managing. Okay, I am managing or I am offering such products to other person. Okay, then in such cases such services is called as financial services. Again, here we have to refer the definition of financial products. Okay, so that's why in PPT such the word financial product is highlighted. Okay, then what else is included in the financial services? Rendering or agreeing for consideration to render advice on or soliciting for the purpose of buying, selling or subscribing to financial product. So subsequent lessons we are going to discuss what is the meaning of financial product. Okay, so whenever if someone is rendering any services for the purpose of buying, selling, subscribing to the financial products, okay, generally financial products includes securities. Okay, so I'm offering the sale, I'm offering shares. Okay, or else I'm selling the shares, I'm offering to subscribe to the shares. Okay, or availing a financial services, or exercising any rights associated with financial product or financial services. Okay, so whoever is rendering these services by receiving some consideration, maybe you can think as a stockbroker. Okay, so they are all considered to be financial services. Okay, then establishing or operating an investment scheme, maintaining or transferring records of ownership of a financial product. So whoever is establishing or operating an investment scheme, let us take the example of mutual fund. Okay, so it's a investment scheme. Okay, so mutual funds. So what is the basic concept of mutual fund? The investor, mutual fund company, they have already invested Okay, so the investment as a whole, it is divided into units, and these units are sold to the investors, that is retail investors. Okay, so that's why they are managing the investment scheme. Okay, so whoever is establishing or operating the investment scheme are maintaining or transferring the records of ownership of financial product. Okay, so who can be included in the maintaining and transferring the records? Here, depository participants. Okay, so if you look at the depository system, the depository participants and depository system in India, we are having NSDL and CDSL. These NSDL and CDSL and other depository participants, they are maintaining and transferring the records of ownership. Okay, so whoever is rendering the services mentioned in clause F, they are, it is considered to be financial services. Okay, then underwriting the issuance or subscription of a financial product. Okay, so whoever is underwriting the issue of subscription. Okay, suppose whenever you are going for initial public offer, maybe further public offer, FPO or IPO, generally the company will go for underwriters. So what is the meaning of underwriters? Underwriters means here, suppose if you fail to receive minimum subscription, these underwriters will subscribe. Okay, it is like you are reducing the risk. Okay, so whoever is underwriting the issuance or subscription of financial product, they are also considered to be rendering the financial services. Okay, then selling, providing or issuing stored value or payment instruments are providing payment services. Okay, so whoever is providing the payment services or whoever is providing or issuing stored value or payment instruments. Okay, so maybe your UPA. Okay, so maybe I'm providing some debit card, credit card. Okay, so all these things are considered to be financial services. Okay, so whoever is rendering the financial services, even you have to consider for them also this legislation is not applicable. Okay, then key terms, financial sector regulator. So in the previous definition, okay, so corporate person means does not include, okay, so company, LLP, other person, but shall not include financial service provider. Okay, so who is financial service provider? Financial service provider means business of providing financial services and registration granted by the financial sector regulator. Now you are clear with the definition financial services. Okay, now who is financial regulator? Let us look at the financial regulator. So it is defined under subsection 18, section 3, subsection 18. Financial sector regulator includes, it is also inclusive definition, Reserve Bank of India, RBI, SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, and IRDA, PFRA, Provident Fund Regulatory Authority, such other authority as may be notified. That's why I told you it's an inclusive definition. Okay, so central government is having power to notify any other authority. If any authority is notified by the central government as a financial sector regulator, then they are also included. Okay, now let us look at the definition of financial product. What is the meaning of financial product? Because in the previous definitions, whenever we are discussing the term financial product, so financial services, whoever is offering the financial product. Okay, so what is included in the definition of financial product? Section 3, subsection 15 defines the term financial product. Okay, first one, securities. What is the meaning of securities? Okay, so the term securities is not defined under this legislation actually. So securities is defined under the Securities Contract Regulation Act. Okay, so if I want to discuss the definition of securities, that itself is a 1 hour lesson actually. Okay, so in a simple language I can say securities means any shares or any bonds, any debentures. Maybe you are converting the shares, debentures into stock, that is stock of debentures or equity stock. Maybe your deposits, units issued by the mutual fund, and units issued by the collective investment scheme. So these are all various categories are there. Okay, so these are all included. Security receipt, for example, security receipt issued under the Sarfasi Act. So these are all the various categories which are included within the definition of securities. Okay, so financial product includes securities. Then your contract of insurance. Okay, so whenever I'm availing the services of insurance, so obviously insurance company will give me one contract. Okay, that contract of insurance. And deposits. Okay, so if any banking institution is accepting the deposits, okay, so they are also included within the meaning of financial product. Okay, then credit arrangements including loans and advances by the banks and financial institutions. Okay, so if banking institutions or financial institutions are providing any credit arrangements, maybe that can be in the form of loans or maybe overdraft facility, maybe advances. Okay, these are all included in the financial products. Okay, then retirement benefit plans. Okay, so we are having various retirement benefit plans are there. Then small savings instruments, if any small saving instruments are there, they are also included in the financial products. Okay. Then foreign currency contracts other than contracts to exchange one currency. Okay. So whenever you are having foreign currency contracts, okay, suppose if you are having options, okay, so derivatives, okay, imagine derivatives are there. So there can be a possibility derivative which is based on the foreign currency. Okay. So derivative means it is an instrument where the value of such instrument is derived from one underlying asset. Okay, so this underlying asset can be foreign currency. Okay, so whenever you are having foreign currency contracts, okay, other than the contracts to exchange one currency, okay, if you are entering into an agreement to exchange one currency, then that is not regulated here. Okay, so other than one currency, if you are having any agreement whereby foreign exchange foreign currency contracts are there, that is included in the definition of financial product. Okay, or any other instrument as may be prescribed. Okay, so these are all the various products which are included within the definition of financial product. Okay, then next definition, section 3 subsection 11, debt. What is the meaning of debt? Debt means a liability. Okay, so you have to underline the word liability or obligation in respect of a claim. Okay, so what is required? What is the meaning of debt? Debt means a liability or obligation and claim. Okay, so the claim word is important. Okay, I am highlighting the words or I am stressing the words liability, obligation and claim. Okay, which is due from any person and includes financial debt and operational debt. Okay, so if you observe this definition under the, if you observe the definition of debt, okay, you have to underline the words liability, obligation, claim, financial debt and operational debt. Okay, so liability means I am liable, obligation means I am having some obligation. Okay, liability and obligation synonymously will use it. Okay, and claim, there is a definition for claim also. Okay, so you have to underline the word claim, financial debt and operational debt. Subsequently we are going to discuss what is the meaning of claim in the subsequent lessons. Okay, then what is the meaning of financial debt? So it is defined in part 2. Okay, so part 1 is the preliminary part. Okay, so part 2 it is defined financial debt. Section 5 subsection 8 of the section 5 subsection 8 defines the term financial debt. What is the meaning of financial debt? Financial debt means a debt along with interest. So whenever I am including the debt, it is along with the interest, principal plus interest, principal amount plus interest, if any, and includes money borrowed against the payment of interest. Okay, any amount raised by acceptance under any acceptance credit facility or its dematerialized equivalent. Any amount raised pursuant to issue of bonds. Suppose I have issued the bonds. By issuing the bonds, I have received some money. Okay, or maybe I have issued some notes or debentures, loan stock or similar instrument. Okay, so whenever I am issuing something, okay, maybe debentures, maybe loans, okay, so bonds, etc., whereby I am raising some debt capital. Okay, so that is called as financial debt. Okay, the amount of any liability in respect of any lease or hire purchase contract. Okay, so if I am liable to pay some rent, some amount, maybe take the example, I have taken one property on lease basis. Okay, I am supposed to pay the rent. Okay, so that amount is called as financial debt. Okay, and receivables sold are discounted other than any receivables sold. Okay, then any amount raised under any other transaction, including forward sale, purchase agreement having commercial effect. Okay, so any money raised under other transactions are also included within the definition of financial liability. Okay, but for the purpose of this class, okay, so this is added subsequent to that. Okay, in the subsequent lessons we are going to discuss how allottees under the real estate. Okay, so how real estate sector, there are certain judgments are there by the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Supreme Court of India, where the allottees under the real estate, they are considered to be financial creditor. Previously they used to treat it as an operational creditor, but subsequently Supreme Court has given the judgment where financial creditors includes allottees under the real estate also. So that's why it is included. Okay, for the purpose of this class, any amount raised from the allottees under the real estate project shall be deemed to be an amount having the commercial effect on borrowing, because in case of real estate project, what happens is majority of the cases the builders, okay, first they will start allotting the flats. Okay, then they will raise the money. This money is used in the project. So when they are using in the project, it is nothing but finance for them. Okay, so they are borrowing money, though they are not borrowing. Okay, so technically, strictly speaking, but they are taking the money from the allottees and this money is invested in constructing the real estate project. Okay, so that's why they are treated as financial creditors. Okay, the expression allotee and real estate project shall have the meaning in the respective of the legislation. Okay, because we are having separate legislation is the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. So under section 2 clause Z and D of the legislation, we are having definitions. Okay, so same definitions we have to observe here also. Okay, then any derivative transaction, okay, so entered into in connection with the protection against or benefit from the fluctuations in any rate or price and for calculating the value of any derivative. So what is the meaning of derivative? Derivative means any instrument where or which derives its value from underlying asset. So what is this underlying asset? This underlying asset can be foreign exchange. This underlying asset can be crude oil. This underlying asset can be any product. Okay, whereby I am hedging my risk. To reduce my risk, okay, I am purchasing the derivatives. Okay, so because the prices may be fluctuating, okay, so I have entered into an agreement. Suppose take the example, you are selling one derivative to me. Okay, whereby what is the agreement? You have to exchange the foreign currency. Maybe take the example dollar. Okay, at 82 rupees. Okay, $1 is equal to 82 rupees. Maybe after 3 months, I am having an option to purchase from you so and so dollars at 82 rupees. Suppose in the market, if the dollar price increased to, or if the rupee price reduced, whereby dollar value something around 85 rupees, then I can exercise this right, whereby I can get the dollar at 82 rupees. 82 rupees. So obviously this 3 rupees is a profit. Okay, so this is called as derivative transactions. Okay, so futures and options, so various categories are there. Okay, so any derivative transaction entered into in connection with the protection against or benefit from the fluctuations. Okay, generally why will use the derivative transactions? We'll use the derivative transactions to hedge our risk, because these things are fluctuating in nature. Maybe oil price, crude oil price, maybe your pulses, or maybe your foreign exchange. These are all fluctuating in nature. Okay, so to protect you from the fluctuations, generally you tend to purchase derivatives. Okay, so any derivative transaction, only the market value of such transaction will be taken into consideration. Okay, then what else is included? Any counter indemnity obligation in respect of guarantee, indemnity, bond, documentary letter of credit. Okay, any other instrument issued by the bank or financial institution. Okay, so any indemnity obligation in respect of guarantee. Okay, so the guarantee is given by banking institution, financial institution. Okay, so these are all obligations because I am liable to. Okay, suppose I have taken letter of credit, okay, or any other instrument issued by the bank, then obviously I am liable to pay. In the near future, I am supposed to pay. Okay, so these are all included in the definition of financial debt. Okay, then any amount of any liability, the amount of any liability in respect of the guarantee or indemnity for any of the item referred in subclauses A to H. Suppose take the example for all these things. Okay, so whatever we had discussed in A2, okay, money borrowed, money raised. Okay, so we are having A, B, C, D, E, F, F, G, H. Okay, so if I have given guarantee to above transactions, okay, from A to H, or I have given any indemnity, so even these are all considered to be financial debt. Okay, but if you observe in the case of Orator Marketing Private Limited versus Samtex Design Private Limited. Okay, so in this case, the Honorable Supreme Court, it was held that the list that is given in this section, that is section 5 subsection A, is inclusive. Okay, the list is inclusive but not exhaustive. Okay, so because they have not used the word, okay, includes. Okay, so it is inclusive but not exhaustive. Then let us look at other definition. Okay, operational debt. Okay, what is the meaning of operational debt? Operational debt means a claim in respect of the provisions of the goods or services, including employment, or debt in respect of the repayment of dues arising under any law for the time being in enforcement, and payable to the central government, or any state government or any other local authority. So what is the meaning of operational debt? Let me tell you in a simple language. Okay, so financial means it's a liability. Okay, debt is a liability for sure. Okay, so financial means whenever I'm having any debt for the purpose of finance, that is to do the business. Okay, that is called as financial debt. Okay, so it's like a capital expenditure. Okay, so operational means I'm selling the goods. Suppose take the example, I'm selling the goods. or else I am purchasing the goods. It's a day-to-day activities, nothing to do with my main business. Okay, so I am purchasing the goods. When I am purchasing the goods, obviously I am supposed to pay the amount. Okay, this is called as operations. Okay, this is relating to the operations, your operations. Okay, whenever I am doing some operations, if there is any liability is arised, then that is called as operational debt. Okay, so operational debt means a claim in respect of the provisions of goods or services. Okay, so in respect, I am selling some goods, imagine. Okay, let us take the example, I am purchasing the goods or someone else is rendering the services to me. Then here I am supposed to pay something. So this liability is called as operational debt. Okay, so in respect of the rendering of services or goods. Okay, so this is called as operational debt. So let us discuss another important definition, default. The term default is defined under section 3, subsection 12. Default means non-payment of debt when whole or any part or installment of the amount of the debt has become due and payable and is not repaid by the debtor or the corporate debtor as the case may be. So what is the meaning of default? Default means any non-payment. Okay, so either it can be operational debt, as already we have discussed just now, operational debt or financial debt. Okay, so non-payment of debt when whole or any part or installment. Okay, so maybe whole is pending, part is pending, or some installment is pending of the amount of the debt has become due. Please remember, you have to underline the word due and payable. Okay, why? Because this is one of the essential element to be satisfied whenever if you want to file an application before the NCLT. So whenever the debt has become due or whenever it is payable, okay, so it has become due and payable, but it is not repaid by the debtor or maybe corporate debtor, as the case may be, then we'll call it as a default. Let us recap what we have discussed today. Today we have discussed some important definitions under IBC. So we have discussed the definition of claim and we have discussed the definition of corporate person, who is considered to be corporate person. Then we have discussed the definition of financial service provider. The person who is providing the financial services is called as financial service provider. Then what is financial services we have discussed. Then we have discussed about the definition of financial sector regulator. Then we have discussed the definition of financial product and the definition of debt and the definition of financial debt, then the definition of operational debt. So if you observe the definition of debt, debt includes financial debt and operational debt. So we have discussed the definition of debt as well as financial debt and operational debt in today's lesson. Thank you.